I was a first lieutenant at the time, and the captain told the men to start digging in and told me to take 2 machine gun squads out another 100 yards in front of that and set them up so we can sweep the area and protect the ridge and also protect the village. I took 6 men and went out about 100 yards. Now we're a mile and 100 yards out in front of who knows what. And we were standing there in the snow talking about the fact that we were finally going to be relieved when all of a sudden all hell broke loose. We had walked right into a German ambush. They were behind us, they were around us, they were in the trees, they were in the bushes, they were in the snow, and they opened up with everything they had. I was hit 5 times, 3 times in the stomach, 1 ripped my left arm bicep, and 1 lodged in this Bible, which I will show you. One of the bullets was lodged in the Bible, and that's probably the one that would have done the trick had it gone through. Suddenly I felt a gun on my temple and a bayonet in my back, and heard Germans tell me to get up. And I looked up and they were 2 SS troops. And I thought, well, goodbye world, because you're now dead.
So many times you hear stories involving war, but to get it from an Iowan veteran's perspective is something totally different. Good morning, everyone. Stivers Ford Lincoln downright proud to present a very interesting program that is going on that is going to give some Iowa veterans the ability to tell their story, Jackie.
And it's called Iowa Veterans Perspective, and we have the amazing lady that's behind telling these incredible stories, Sarah Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Jackie, hi Lou, thank you.
So how did this all begin, of telling the stories of these incredible people that have served our country?
Well, actually, John Phillips was one of my first interviews that I did back in 2007. And I guess for a lack of better words, I kind of caught the history bug. I got interested more in what our veterans have gone through, you know, in order to keep us safe. I myself am a veteran. I've been in the Iowa National Guard for 21 years.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you. And I just realized that these men and women do so much for us, and I wanted to use my skills that I learned in the military, actually, in broadcast journalism, to turn around and help tell their stories.
Do you find that our veterans out there want to tell their stories?
Oh, definitely. Especially when they're talking to me, I can kind of talk in a way that veterans understand, because, you know, you can have a room full of people and the 2 veterans in the room will find each other and have something to talk about.
They'll have their conversation in their own language, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah. In our own language, I can ask questions that are informed questions about their time in service. And it's just a good connection that we have regardless of your generation.
And we know the veterans, that every veteran that is out there has some stories within them, and there are some that are may even have a hard time expressing them, and this will give them a very unique opportunity.
Exactly, Lou. That's the thing that I'm finding, and studies have shown that if you go through some sort of trauma, talking about it helps. And this is their first step and their first opportunity. I've had World War II veterans tell me, as I'm doing the interview, you know, in a very relaxed way, I've never even told my wife this story, because they just didn't know how to put it into words. And so now I'm giving them the opportunity to be able to verbalize their stories and give their perspective of what they went through.
How many stories have you been able to collect so far?
Well, I have several versions of the stories. Some of them I just find on old VHS tapes.
Really?
And there's a place in the museum on Camp Dodge that had a whole bunch of VHS tapes. I have a couple World War I veterans that I found on an old VHS tape. Yes. And all the way up through ones that I'm recording this week. So I have a huge archive of these interviews, and I'd like to say, if I had to give it a ballpark, probably 350 to 400 interviews that I have archived that I want to make more like John's to share.
And where are you sharing these? Like, where can people see these amazing stories?
Well, I have a YouTube channel that I started this year. It's, if you go to YouTube and type in Iowa Veterans Perspective, it'll pop up. You can subscribe. You'll get new videos as they're being edited and released. Or you can also go to my website, iowaveteransperspective.org.
Now, you talked about having these videos put up on the YouTube site. How often do they get updated?
Well, as soon as I can get them edited, I update them. I'm trying to do at least one a week right
That was
now.
what I was asking. Okay, about one a week.
Yep, exactly.
And how long are the clips that you are finding?
Well, what you'll actually see with the final product is about a 3 to 5 minute story. And that's just a very short story of their actual time in service. Sometimes interviews are an hour to an hour and a half. But in order for people to just be able to get an interest, just a little taste so that they could become more interested, I went ahead and do the shorter version so you can see the highlights of their stories.
Now, I know this is your passion project, but how can we all get more involved to make sure these stories are basically encapsulated so they live forever?
Well, I think that a great thing to do is just go to the website, veteransperspective.org. You could send me an email if you want to donate your time, if you have a specific skill like video editing.
Sure.
Or if
Because
you
right now you do it all.
Yes, right now I am a one woman shop, if you will.
So that would probably be very helpful if there's anybody that has any video editing skills to step up and help out.
And also, if you know of a group that I can come and talk to, because the more people that know about it, the more that we can recognize our veterans for their service.
Absolutely.
What
So
a great idea.
Yeah, and if you go to the website, there's also a donation button. If you don't have time, which I know we are all short on time, but if you want to donate financially, that is also welcomed so that I can afford to pay those people who would like to come help me edit.
That's awesome.
All right. It's an amazing thing that you're doing, and we encourage you to keep on going because we want to hear these stories, especially as you just saw that incredible story of that gentleman before we started this segment, and you said he's no longer with us.
Yes.
But because you were able to do that interview, we're able to continue to talk about his amazing story.
Yep, his family can hear his voice anytime they want to.
And see
Which is incredible.
And see his personality, his perspective, and what the Bible that he pulled out, that was incredible.
I know, and there are so many stories like that, Lou, of just amazing things that our citizens have done, and it's like you would never know unless you sit down and ask them. And what I've been telling people, they're like, so what is this veterans perspective? And I say, it's my opportunity to show people the price of our freedoms.
There you go.
We enjoy our freedoms every day, and our veterans definitely paid that price for us.
And these are the men and women that have fought for us. Remind us again, if people want to check out the website or your YouTube channel, where do they need to go?
Just look for veteransperspective.org. Go to YouTube, type in Iowa Veterans Perspective, and if you would like to subscribe, please do that.
That's
Perfect.
Right. An Iowa Veterans Perspective. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing